Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Heather Blaze. If you don't know who I am, I help business owners set up their businesses so that they can have time and money freedom to do what they love to do. And today we're going to be talking about how resourcefulness can bring in quick cash for your business. This is so important when you're having a business is you need to invest in things, right? In order to make it work. Sometimes a lot of us may not have those resources to begin with, and it can stop us from achieving what we want quickly. So we're going to dive into that. So if you are an expert, if you're a consultant, a coach, a therapist, if you provide a service, then you're in the right place because we're going to be diving deep into this. Today, we're going to be talking about how to be resourceful so that you can generate that quick cash to inject in your business, to grow quickly and scale and all that good stuff. Okay. So, I want to give you some strategies that are outside of the normal way that you do things. Okay. So, the big idea is for you to have the ability to generate quick cash for your business when needed, because we deal with life where anything can go wrong at any given time and it could be beyond our control, but it's not always out of our control. There's always a way to do something, right? So when you're in a cash crunch for whatever reason, it will be very useful to have some tactics that you can reach into to drive added revenue to your business. Okay. And the main thing I want you to understand is that resourcefulness is a mindset. Okay, perfect. Yay. Okay, let's keep going then. All right. So, anyway, back to what we're talking about. The main thing that you want to understand is that resourcefulness is a mindset. Okay. You always have to think, I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. Okay. So always look at the problems and challenges as opportunities to get better. And I can tell you from experience that this is true. In my business, every single problem that I have encountered has resulted to an improvement in the way I did things before. Okay. The offer I have now, for example, was built on reviewing the problems that my clients and I were running into and trying to figure out how to make it better. Okay. I'm always tweaking it as I encounter things, trying to make it simpler, trying to make it easier. I notice when there's like repetitive things that people will be going through so that I can solve those problems, try and make it simpler, try and make it easier for my clients to get that result, right? The question always is like, what can I do to improve this so that I don't keep on encountering those same issues, or so they don't keep on encountering those same issues either? Because if it wasn't for those problems that I run into, I'd have never known what needs to be fixed or changed or improved. Okay. So everything I have going on now, like the way I do sales calls, the choice of ads that I run, the frequency of the emails and posts, all those came as a direct result of problems that my business just smashed into, and that I could not ignore. Right. So these things came at me, and then I was like, okay, I can't ignore that. I need to keep doing it. This isn't working. We need to solve this. So realize that every time you solve that problem, guess what? It gets a little better. You get a little better, and you get a little more confident too. So I'm telling you right now, like just adapt this mentality and be intentionally resourceful as a business owner. Okay. Of course, this is all easier said than done, especially when you're encountering like serious problems that almost push you to quit. Like I can think of a time when I was first starting, I had invested in a coach. I think I paid them 12,000 at the time to help me with a bunch of things, and I got to a certain level, but things still weren't working. They were like, I was at a point where I was making a ton of money, but I wasn't keeping a lot because of the way they were showing me how to do it. So it worked really well. I was happy I invested in that. It got me to that certain level, got me to $50,000 months, which was amazing. And so I surpassed all my goals because my goal was to do about 10,000, but I wasn't able to keep a lot of it, right? The profitability wasn't there. So they weren't teaching that part of it. So then I needed to invest in another mentor because I knew that the longer this went on, the longer the problem goes on, if you're not making money or if you're not keeping the money, that's money that you're losing. So when I first started out, I had tapped out all my resources too. So yes, I was making a ton of money, but I wasn't having the profitability. So I didn't have more money to invest at that time. And so I was like, okay, how do I get resourceful? In my mind, I'm like, there's got to be a way. I don't have the money to invest in another mentor at this moment, but I know that if I keep every day that goes by or every week that goes by that I'm not making that money, I'm ultimately losing money, right? So if my goal is 10,000 a month and I don't know how to generate that $10,000 a month because of whatever, right? There's something broken in my business model, right? Then that's 10,000 a month each month that goes by that I'm losing. Okay. A lot of people don't think about it that way. They think I'm not making $10,000 or I'm not making any money. So I don't want to invest in anything until I make the money. But the longer that time goes on, if you're losing $10,000 a month and then the month after that and the month after that, do you see how much that's costing you? You think it might be saving you not to make that initial investment, but it's actually costing you month after month. You're losing that money's not going in your bank account because you're not solving that problem. Does that make sense? So I was racking my brain. How can I get more money to make this investment in this other coach, right? This other mentor that could set up the systems for my profitability. And ended up applying for a 0% interest credit card. I think this is the best way to invest in anything because a 0% interest credit card, if you don't know what that is you can, whatever amount you qualify for, you can basically essentially just transfer into your bank account and you get a certain amount of time, usually between 6 months and I think the longest I've seen is 21 months of no interest whatsoever. And you only have to pay the minimum. And you also have to pay usually like a transfer fee, but I've even found credit cards at 0% interest. In fact, I think this one that I got, it was a 0% interest transfer fee too. They were just hoping that I would default on paying it all back within whatever months it was, because then it's like a super high interest rate. So then I was able to pay for that. As soon as I got it, I was able to pay for that mentor. They set me up properly and then I started making the money to pay it back. No problem. Plus, it's a write-off, right? Any kind of education in your business is a complete write-off anyway. Why give it to the government in taxes if you can legally write it off, educate yourself and grow, and then use that knowledge to pass on to others too, right? So anyway, my point is I knew that if I didn't make that investment, if I didn't get resourceful in order to make that investment quickly, I would have lost a ton of money. Because each day that goes by not knowing how, you're losing. Okay. Even if it's on a personal level, by not solving whatever issue is holding you back from whatever you're wanting, that outcome, if you're not solving that problem quickly, you're losing whatever it is. It's costing you something, right? So get resourceful so that you can solve the problem quickly and move on, because life is short. We can make money and get money anywhere, but we can't get our time back. Right? Once that day is gone, it's gone. You're never going to get it back. So what I've gained through that experience was worth more than the cost of that problem. Does that make sense? So when you run into problems, okay, maintain the proper perspective. Just remember that challenges are inevitable, especially in business. Okay. Business is hard. We can simplify it as much as possible, but I've said this over and over again. It's up and down all the way up, right? When you know what you're doing. A lot of people, takes a long time to figure it out. But again, if you get a mentor, you can cut that time, right? Why reinvent the wheel? But when you set these big goals, right, for whatever it is, whatever your big goals are around, you're surely going to have problems along the way. So again, resourcefulness is a mindset. And the more you cultivate that mindset, the better you're going to be at handling problems. One of the problems I've seen with my clients and colleagues is having what I call funnel vision, meaning my funnel's broken. No one's booking that call. I'm doomed. Of course, you can't make sales unless you got people calling. So yeah, it's really helpful to have that funnel, but it also has to be set up properly. Sometimes it's not the funnel that's broken. That could be far from the truth. And yes, the funnel is like the main tool that we use to bring in new people into the door, but it's not the only tool. Okay. So this is where resourcefulness comes in, because your entire site might crash, right? That might happen. You never know. Right. It's happened to me several times. Like I'll change a plugin in my back end and then I get a message, oh, your website's down or whatever. I'm like, dang it. So then I got to go back and figure out which plugin it is and all kinds of stuff, whatever. Things happen, right? Or Facebook ads. Your Facebook ads account might get disabled or hacked. And one of my colleagues was saying that she has been battling for 5 months because her Facebook account was hacked and they totally disabled her account. Her account got hacked. They disabled her account. Now she's on a spending limit of only $20 a day. And if anybody knows that in order to scale, you want to be and test things, like if you want quality leads and quality clients, you're going to have to spend more than $20 a day. Okay. But she's limited to $20 a day. And anyway, she got resourceful. This is a great example, actually. She got resourceful. She made a post and she boosted it. But of course, she knows what she's doing with her messaging and stuff like that. So don't go boosting posts unless you know what you're doing. But anyway, she ended up getting 4 calls booked with that one post. So anyway, because she knows how to communicate the value on what she has to offer effectively, she knows how to do a lot of things effectively, right? But anyway, the point is she got resourceful and things might happen, right? Like your Facebook account getting disabled, or maybe you're getting the wrong people showing up. You're doing all this stuff, but the wrong people are showing up. And usually that's an indication that your messaging is off for the ideal people that you want to be attracting. Or another thing that could be happening is maybe people are showing up, but you don't really know how to close the sale. Maybe the right people are showing up, but you're just not really clear on how, you're just not knowing exactly what to say to easily guide them into that sale. These are things I help my clients with all the time, diagnosing like what's not working. And then, okay, how do we fix that? In those moments, you need to stay resourceful and find a way to still win. Let me give you some ways to earn quick cash. Okay, back to what we're talking about. Yeah, the cash flow and sharing these with you. Mailing your list. How many other businesses have emailed those people in your list in the last week, would you say? Like the people in your list, they're getting tons of emails for other things. So why not from you? Again, it's like staying top of mind, that top of mind awareness, but not just blasting any kind of email, right? There's strategies to it. There's a way to word the emails in a specific way so that it gets people to take ultimate action, right? The action to buy from you. So remember that anytime you need calls booked, right, you should be emailing your list first and foremost. So I do this all the time, daily, 5 days a week at least. Okay. So don't worry about people unsubscribing. That's totally fine. And that's definitely going to happen on a daily basis too. You don't have to worry about them either, right? They're not a good fit. Right. But the ones that are a good fit, they're going to stick around. They're going to appreciate it. They're going to love what you have to say. And they're going to want more. Right. Ask yourself this too. Like, how are you subscribed to anybody's email list where you're just like, ooh, I got to get more. I can't get enough of this. And there's some that I'm just like, unsubscribe, I'm done. So it's not a personal thing. It's just what's aligning with you or that person in the moment, right? Like I'm following this one guy in real estate investing right now. And I'm like, what's he going to send me next? Like, I can't wait until he sends me the next thing, right? I'm devouring all his content and I can't get enough right now, because that's what I'm into right now. So it just depends where people are. So don't be afraid to be emailing at least 5 days a week. Okay. But you should be probably doing about 5 days a week. And when it's done properly, it really doesn't take any longer than about 2 hours a week to do the right email strategy that gets people booking calls. Okay. There's a way to do it. There's a formula to do it. There's exact words that you need to be using, but all of those depend on your offer, like what you're offering specifically, who you're targeting specifically, who you are as a human, right? All those things, but it shouldn't be taking more than 15 minutes a day or about 2 hours a week to put really effective emails together. Anyway, wherever your audience is, you should be just reaching out to them on a regular basis and inviting them to book calls. This also means that if you've got a Facebook group, then go ahead and post in there too. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use the same post as an email, right? You don't have to do a million different posts and a million different things. If the messaging is on point, it's going to resonate, right, with your ideal client. And if you're building a quality group with quality people that are a good fit for what you have to offer, then they're going to want to hear in there too. So always giving out that invitation to book a call with you, because you'll never know who's ready and just waiting to be invited by the right person, right? By the right expert, by the right service provider or whatever, whoever you are. Does that make sense? So to recap, okay, the first thing to remember is to make sure that you're sending emails out to your list regularly with messages that resonate deeply. Okay. The second thing I want you to remember is that you should always ask for referrals. Find ways to weave this into your conversations with your clients or even with your friends. It doesn't have to be like sleazy or cheesy or anything like that. You're there to serve, you're there to help people, and your friends and clients should be respecting that. So, with your clients, you should create a culture of celebration. Make it clear that you expect them to share their wins always, okay? This could be during a Q&A call or maybe posting them on Facebook, okay? Things like that, or maybe even emailing you. They should be celebrating every part of the journey with you and the wins. No matter how small they seem, there should just always be a reason to celebrate. We always get more of what we focus on, whether it's positive or negative. So if we're always focused on what we want, we're going to get more of what we want. If we're focused on things that aren't working or what we don't really want, then we're going to get more of that. So always just catch yourself, pay attention, catch yourself, and shift back to what you want. Bringing up those celebrations, bringing up those wins and sharing those helps you stay focused on that. Does that make sense? For example, I help people set up their online businesses in record time, right? Within only 8 to 12 weeks. I give them everything that they need to set this up properly instead of the typical 3 to 5 years that it takes 50% of business owners to figure out on their own. So we collapse time from 3 to 5 years down to about 8 to 12 weeks. So my clients celebrate these steps and every single step, not just getting set up properly after finishing the entire course. We're celebrating throughout the journey, throughout learning this new language, I call it. It's a whole new language that they're learning of how to set up a business and how to have the right systems in place and automate as much as possible so that they can have that time and money freedom. They celebrate every new high paying client. They celebrate gaining clarity over their purpose, maybe. They celebrate being able to rework their email sequence. It could be anything, right? This isn't going to happen automatically, though, right? Like you need to always encourage them to do it. Okay. So I'm always asking my clients, what are we celebrating today? Posting it in our group. What are you guys celebrating? Because I want them to stay focused on what they're winning at, the progress they're making towards their goals. Once you've got that culture going, once they do, that's like the perfect time for you to send them a DM and ask if they know anyone who can benefit from your offer. Okay. And why? Because they're in a great place, right? Currently. But if you don't ask them to do this, then you'll likely be missing out on the possible referrals and future clients. This is something I mean to do a lot. And now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, I haven't been doing that really myself. So anyway, it's a good thing to do, right? And just understand if you need that cash injection, especially, right? You could also make it win, like give them a referral fee, right? So understand, right? Like this is free money. You don't have to pay for advertising. You don't have to do any of that stuff when it's a referrals. It's imperative that they do this, that you do this regularly. Okay. So don't let any fear of what people will think or say hinder you from getting those extra enrollments. So let's just recap that real quick. So first is to make sure that you are sending out regular emails and posts to those on your list and your group or whatever. Second is to ask for referrals as you celebrate each win. Okay. No matter, or I should say, as they celebrate each win or whatever. Okay. No matter how small or how big they seem. Okay. So let's move on to number 3. The other thing you need to be doing more of is posting your client wins. Okay. So when they post those wins, go ahead and grab that or talk about it in your next post or email or Facebook Live, maybe, right? Once a week or when maybe it's once every other week, we do a client win email, right? This is what my client is getting or got. This is a case study type of thing. So this way you create the impression that you're out there to get results, not only for yourself, but more so for the people that you're serving. So when people are done with going around in circles and not getting results, guess who they're going to go to? Right. So just go ahead, take screenshots of what your clients are achieving and posting that. And you can always pixel out their name if you want to do like privacy or their photo, if there's a photo with it. You don't have to post those. You can even change their name or whatever if you're doing like a case study. Sometimes I do that. And then just put those in your timeline or put them on your business page or put them in your group or put them in other people's groups. So if you're like it's a celebration and it gives people hope too, right? If that person can do it, maybe I can do it for myself, right? So it's like a win situation. So you could say something like, so grateful to be helping this client achieve this maximum result after only 4 weeks of working together. Can't wait to see more. Want to experience the same thing for yourself, for your business? Then send me a DM or whatever it is that you're doing. For me, I would say business, but if you have a relationship offer, a health offer, or whatever, right? You just tailor it to you and then get them to send you a DM so that you can connect. So this can literally take a minute to do. So just make this part of your routine. It doesn't have to take long. Okay. A screen, like you don't have to do a big thing. Screenshot and that little blurb, done. Right. So those are only some tactics on how you can get some extra resources or get resourceful if you need immediate cash. But never forget to work on your mindset, because that's what's going to give you the consistency as a resourceful service-based entrepreneur in her mindset. Right. So I asked her, have you ever played that game where you have to spend money, right? Like in your journal type of thing. So you start day one, you put $1,000, you have to spend it. You can't give it away. You can't donate it. You have to spend it on something. And then the next day it doubles to 2,000. And then the next day it's 4,000, 8,000, and 16,000 and so on. And you have to spend the whole amount on that day. So what it does though, is it shifts you out of any kind of scarcity or lack. She didn't even realize she was having that. It was like day one was 1,000, day two was 2,000, day three was 3,000, day four was 4,000. She got to 4,000 and she was like, oh my God, I was so stuck. I couldn't spend $4,000 on anything and what she realized was she's been coming from this place, from this mentality of only being able to pay her bills. So this got her out of that. I got her to realize it. First of all, she didn't even realize that she was stuck there. Like, how can you make money if all your and scale and thrive? If you want to make 50,000, even 10,000, right? If you want to make 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 a month, if you're stuck in, I just need to pay my bills. I just need to pay my bills. I just need to pay my bills. It's a totally different mindset. But when you shift that, if you realize that you're stuck there and that may be why you're not surpassing certain things, right? And then you start thinking in this abundant way of what can I spend this money on? It starts to get hard when you get like in the really high numbers. Okay, now what am I going to spend my money on? And now I don't even have enough time in the day I did it and I was like, oh, I'm going to buy real estate next. But you got to go see the real estate. You got to go do this. And it's now I need to hire a personal assistant. So I got to pay her salary. So there goes 60,000. So now she's going to go out and do that stuff for me. Like it just gets your mind thinking abundantly versus scarcity. Does that make sense? So anyway, again, it's just that resourcefulness, and that can bring cash in quickly too. That's another one, right? Because if you're stuck in this thing, how are you going to bring cash in quickly if you're just stuck in? Anyway, so hopefully this has been helpful for you. All right. Can you explain that lesson again about the 1,000, 2,000? Yeah, for sure. So it's a game. So every night when you go write in your journal, okay, get a journal or write it, whatever. The first night you're going to, yeah, it's imaginary spending amounts, right? So you're going to imagine that I'm handing you $1,000. Here's $1,000 for you to spend today. You have to spend it all. What are you going to spend it on? Okay. Then the next night you're writing in your journal and you've been handed $2,000. Now, again, you have to spend the whole 2,000. What are you going to spend it on? Are you going to go on a nice dinner? Are you going to get massages? Are you going to get a facial? You have to spend it on you. You could bring a friend to dinner, treat them too, but like it gets you thinking, right? And then it's okay. Now I've got 4,000. Well, I can't buy a car with it. What am I going to spend 4,000 on? And then you got to wait till you get to a certain amount to buy that car. And then it gets you thinking like, how much is that car that I ideally want? So now I got to wait until then. And it gets you thinking of what am I going to buy with all this stuff? I'm like, okay, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 16,000. That's what I like to do. So anyway, it just totally shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. So hopefully that's clear, but it's imagining you're just getting handed that. You have to spend it all. What do you spend it on? Can't keep it to the next day. It gets challenging. It's a challenging exercise, but it's fun. And I just love how it shifts the mindset. So anyway, I hope that has been super helpful for you. And just to recap how resourcefulness can bring in quick cash for your business. So number one, Make sure that you're sending emails out to your email list regularly with messages that resonate deeply to get them to take action to ultimately buy. If you don't know how to create an email list for yourself with the right people finding you, calling you, then you need to reach out so we can talk about that, the best strategies to get you there around what you're doing. Number two, always ask for referrals and make it clear that you expect your clients to share their wins, creating a culture of celebration. Number three, when a client posts about their wins, go ahead and grab that or talk about it on your next post or email. Creating the impression that you are out there to get results, not only for yourself, but more so for the people that you serve. So if you're resourceful and determined, and you think you need my help in setting up the right systems for your business so that you can finally scale, just type in the word resourceful. Okay. And I or someone from my team will get back to you with a DM. We can set up a free phone call. It's a free 45-minute breakdown to see what's going on with your business, what's going on with your business model. Maybe that's broken and that's why you're not getting the results that you're looking for. So I can ask you a bunch of questions, get to the what's happening with you specifically, because every business is a little bit different and every person is different and who you want to attract is different, right? So we need to get the specifics on that so that we can put together the best strategy for how to get you from where you are to what you ultimately want to achieve, like the results that you ultimately want. So there's a process to that. But again, it's going to depend on where you are, who you are, your skill set, all these things. So I'll ask you a bunch of questions to try and determine what that is. It's a free call that I offer. And then, of course, if we're a good fit to work together, so I can walk you through, support you through the process, then we'll talk about that. And if not, then I can always send you to someone in my network, because I got a big network of amazing people that might be a better fit for you and what you need to get those results. Okay. So cool. I will see you again next Thursday in the Business Growth Blueprint on Facebook. Come join us, this powerful group of experts, coaches, consultants, agencies building their value to create high ticket offers that sell and impact. All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Take care.